Okay, as I promised, a from the car, just got my ass out of the movie theater review of Avengers Endgame. And a couple of things. First off, no post-credit scene. So as you've been holding your bladder for 3 hours, great time to get up and go, especially like on the opening weekend when everybody's going to be waiting for a post-credit scene. There isn't one, so you can go beat the line. I kind of waited, and then I don't know if you've ever been to an amusement park and stood in really long lines for a Wicket ride. That's the lineup you're going to be waiting in to use the bathroom. It was a very, very long line. Anyway, those are just a couple of little tidbits about the movie. I will start with the cons, the things I didn't like. And there was really only a couple. It's over 3 hours, like a tick over 3 hours. It felt a little bloated at times. There are times where the movie is a little slow. And I know they were letting all the characters breathe, but they maybe could have trimmed a little bit of that down. Just a bit. It wasn't a lot, but there were a couple times where I was kind of feeling like the movie was dragging a bit. So minor, but just I got to give the cons where they are. The other con, it's a personal thing for me. I know a lot of people love jokey Thor. I'm not a huge fan of jokey Thor. It's not the Thor that I remember growing up with. And he's very jokey in this. So I didn't dig that as much as maybe everybody else. I know it's a personal thing, but it's just, I don't dig jokey Thor. Anyway, those are really my only cons. Other than that, the movie is a fantastic wrap up of what Marvel has done over the last 10, 11 years. They built this incredible universe with amazing characters, and most of them get a chance to shine in this movie. There's a few that I felt kind of didn't get their great moment, but overall, every character has a somewhat signature moment in this film. They all have great, whether it's action sequences or dialogue sequences, things that will stick with you when you leave Endgame. And as I said, the real thing about this was the wrapping up of the decade plus of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's kind of where I sit right now. As I'm sitting in the theater, I'm not so much thinking about what I just saw, which was great. I mean, the battle sequences are off the charts. Everything looks really good. If I think too hard about it, there's a couple times Thanos was a little clunky, like he was in Infinity War, but not super noticeable. And yeah, like I want to talk spoilers, but I don't want to make this a spoiler review. I promised it wouldn't be. So that's why I'm talking in very general terms, because I really don't want to give anything at all away. I want to keep it as, generic as I can while still giving you a sense of the movie. But the one thing that I'm spinning in my head right now after watching that is, where do they go from here? Because without that post-credit sequence, which we've always had, we always kind of knew the next step in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know where they go from here. I mean, we know some of the movies that are coming, like Spider-Man and Black Panther 2 and that type of thing, but we don't know where this, universe is headed. And that to me is really interesting right now. But back to Endgame. Everybody brought their A game for Endgame. It's the best that I've seen these guys, like Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, Mark Ruffalo, which they did kind of a cool thing with him and the Hulk. I think they all understood the importance of this movie. And not that they're bad actors, not that they ever did a bad job before, but it felt like they were stepping it up. Like, they knew this was something that was going to mean more than a movie to a lot of people. Like when I finally got in the bathroom, I was listening to people in the lineup. One guy said life-changing. Sure. I mean, he's a younger guy. He probably grew up with these movies. So this is life-changing. Again, I don't want to I'm fighting getting into details on this because I want to talk about it with you and be like, wasn't this cool? But I don't want to spoil it for you. Needless to say, this is a movie that you're going to have to see. You kind of knew that anyway. And I would recommend the sooner the better. I know it's going to be a madhouse on this opening weekend, but this is a movie that shouldn't be spoiled. There's too many cool moments for these, especially for these characters that we've been with and watched this storyline go, to have it ruined by some jackass at the water cooler at work or something like that. So the sooner you can get to see Endgame, the better. Not that it needs the publicity and the help. Thing's going to make billions of dollars, all the money it's going to make. But that's my spoiler-free take on Endgame. Once it's been out for a little while, I'll bust into a full spoiler review, because there's a lot to dissect in this movie and a lot that I really, really, really want to talk about. Just so many cool, especially towards the end. There's so much stuff that I just want to be like, and then this happened, and then this happened. But I don't want to spoil it for you. So go check it out this weekend. And if you go see it, let me know what you think in the comments below. We'll talk a bit more about Avengers Endgame. Obviously, it's box office and everything else on the podcast, which drops every Thursday morning. It's the Scotty Marr Show. You can find it here on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, all the places that you get your podcasts. So make sure you subscribe to it. We always have tons of geek news and geek talk on there. So to sum up, Avengers Endgame is the best movie it can be in a way that no other movie could be this movie. No other movie was wrapping up over a decade of cinematic building and storytelling. So it's an unprecedented film. It lives up to the majority of the hype, I would say, even surpasses some of it. I was shocked with some of the decisions they made. I didn't think they had the balls to do some of the things they did. So go check it out, and we'll discuss it more in a little bit.